for you. Artic1!
And there he goes, one man and a dog sled across the top of the world. A true story of the adventures of Erwin of the Arctic. We bring you now Dave Erwin in person, and another exciting chapter of his famous journey across the top of the world. Today, the jealousy of the Eskimo herder, Pyrock, forces Dave to make an unexpected change in his plans, a change that threatens his very life. And now, Dave Erwin.
Thanks, Don. All right, folks, if you're ready, I'll get right on with the story. Remember I told you how we killed Nanook, the polar bear, and the celebration that followed? And also the trouble that arose between the chief herder, Pyrock, and myself. You know, unintentionally, I had caused Pyrock to lose face with the rest of the Eskimos, and he was set on making trouble for me. Anyhow, about the third day of our camp there, Rocky and I were coming back from a hunt. There was a bitter wind out of the northwest, filled the air with fine snow particles. And in the usual dull twilight of noonday, it's kind of hard to make out that camp, till we got less than 100 yards away from it, and...
Andy say we're gonna move herd again next week, Dave.
That's right, Rocky. We got to get him over near the Mackenzie Valley way. He wants me to take the deer sled tomorrow and go out looking for moss. You'll come along with me.
No, maybe I not come, Dave.
What? But, well, why not, Rocky?
When he find out, I think Peter gonna be mad, Dave.
Pyrock? You mean because Andy's sending me out with the sled?
Pyrock, he think Andy's gonna put you in his place.
I see. Well, you needn't worry about that. I don't want his place. I'm only a passenger with this herd anyhow, so we get farther inland.
Last week, when you carry pack faster than Pyrock, that put shame on him. His woman tell him to fight you, Dave. No, Kabluna white man can be stronger than Eskimo, Inuit.
I see. So that's what's eating Pyrock, is it? Well, maybe we better find out who's the stronger and get this whole thing over with.
Look, he come now with other herders.
Yeah, they're coming out to meet us, looks like. Well, what's on your mind, Pyrock? Kina, Ilwick.
Kabluna white man, he fight Pyrock now. Kabluna put shame on Inuit. Inuit put shame on Kabluna.
Why can't they wait until this thing, when we get back to camp, Rocky?
They don't want to let you come back to camp, Dave, without you fight.
Kabluna, take it fast.
Well, all right, Pyrock. I've been on this hunt for the past 6 hours, but if it's got to be a fight, we might as well have it out. Namakto?
Pyrock fight with steel knife.
Steel knife?
Maybe Kabluna afraid to fight Inuit with steel knife. Make Kabluna's blood cold.
Not exactly fond of steel knives, but...
Better not, Dave. He can use knife better than Nanook can use claws.
I'll fight him, Rocky. Let him use his knife. I'll fight him the only way I know how to fight, with my fist.
Come on.
All right. I'm going to let you have it, Pyrock.
You go quick, Dave. Here comes Andy.
Well, I hit that Eskimo on the jaw with all the strength in me, and he went down and out. But Andy Barr came along just then, and I guess it was a pretty good thing he did. He took me into his hut, and I'll always remember that scene. The seal oil lamp flickering on the snow bench. Outside, the lonely whine of the wind, reminding us that we were 8 humans, alone in that forgotten waste. The mercy of something stronger than our own little fears or hates. And old man Barr just staring at me with sort of a sad look on his wrinkled face.
I was hoping I could smooth things over, Dave, but I'm afraid this ends it.
Sorry it happened, Andy.
The men have been getting contrary lately, neglecting the herd. And today, Pyrock gave me the word. You got to go, Dave.
Go?
Yes, if you don't, they'll put you under the ice, assure the shooting, then they'll haul out more than likely and leave me alone with 2,000 head of deer.
I see. But I had to zock him, Andy. If I hadn't, if he'd well, he'd put that knife in me.
You know. But I get to get those deer through, Dave. There's hundreds of huskies and their families inland that are starving. It's your life. Again, Dan.
Okay, I'll go, Andy.
Agachek, Van Mukik, Kina o Kabluna, Parak.
Kabluna, Unak. You tell Pyrock.
Aye, Kina. Kabluna is look.
That's that. They want me to go, all right.
They'll give you all the victuals they can spare. But it's a long march, son. About 200 miles back to Fort Yukon. Across the mountains.
I'll follow the trail back towards Barter Island.
There might be reindeer carcass along the trail. If the wolves have left any. I hate like the place is doing this. Because it likely means that, well, that...
I know. I'd rather die by myself. I've got to, Andy.
If you get through, it may be better for you than trying that vile scheme you had to go it alone after you left the herd. You'd have died, sure.
Maybe. I haven't given up that scheme either. When do I start?
You better get your pack ready now. Aid tell Pyrock you're leaving.
So about 2 hours later, I was bundled up in my warmest caribou skins and mucklucks and ready to start out. I decided on Barter Island because Tom Gordon, an old whaler, lived there when he happened to be home. But I knew I faced a long, hard journey. The wind had died down, and the herders were standing in a silent group in front of their long hut when I came out. Rocky stepped over and he held out his hand.
I say goodbye, Dave.
Goodbye, Rocky.
I always remember you saved my life that time, Dave, but I am Inuit. I must stay with my people.
Sure. That's right, Rocky. You couldn't help it anyhow. One can travel faster than two.
You hit straight for the shore, Dave. Then follow it best. You might get some seal through the ice.
I may meet up with some walrus, too, Andy. I'll be all right.
But the place is hails them dogs. You go see if they're fighting, Rocky.
Amaru, I hear words many times. I go see.
Look, Andy. Look, that dark mass is moving this way.
Gosh, it's the herd.
And they're stampeding.
Pyrock, get your men out. Get that pack off your back, Dave. We need you here.
Okay. I help. I've got my rifle here, too.
They're coming straight for us. Head them on. Not the pack ice. Head them north. Head them north.
And thus, for the time being at least, Dave's exile from Andy Barr's outfit and his mush back to Barter Island was unexpectedly delayed. And now, Dave, for our questions. Harry Patterson of Henry Street, Chicago, asks, has the Eskimo his own language?
Oh, absolutely. We've been trying to give you a taste of it on this program here. It's not a written language, though. It's an almost universal speech among all of them. I spoke the Alaskan Eskimo, but I could make myself understood 2,000 miles to the west on Hudson Bay. It's a little bit different, though, in dialect.
Well, that is interesting. Teddy Cox of Camden asks, how does it sound to count in Eskimo? Will you oblige, Dave?
Okay, Teddy. Here's 1 to 7. Atawak, Kadalra, Pingayu, Sidama, Tulima, Quinyak.
Is that as far as they go, to 7?
An Eskimo seems to figure after you get 7 caribou or 7 seal or maybe 7 wives, you've got plenty. They just don't bother going any farther.
Well, that's a good sound philosophy. And now question number 3. Mary Harris of Cincinnati wants to know, are the Eskimo a clean people?
Well, they're as clean as they can be. For example, at night they crawl into sleeping bags made of fur. They get in quite naked, without a thing on, like the day they're born. They leave their clothes nearby, and in the morning they take a stick and beat the frost out of the clothes. They have to do this because during the night, the perspiration freezes, and their clothes become as hard as sheet iron. So, if, washing your clothes every morning before you put them on gives you a rating as a clean people, well, the Eskimos are certainly a clean outfit.
Under those conditions, they certainly are clean. Now, Lester Wallace of Springfield, Ohio, wants to know, what was the reason for the Canadian reindeer drive?
Well, the migration routes of the caribou often change coming down through Canada. And at times, the Eskimos waiting for them, when these changes come about, they actually starve because the migration routes have been changed.
Well, I'm sure that's a question that a great many people wanted answered. And now we come to the next question. Arthur Laverne of Omaha, Nebraska, asks, where did the Eskimos originally come from?
Well, the Eskimos originally came, they figure, from Asia. Now, this is a long time ago, and nobody's really sure, but I think we can be sure that they truly are a Mongolian people.
Here's one from William Seymour of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Generally speaking, are the Eskimos a long-lived people?
Well, it's a funny thing, but the Eskimo, if you'd ask him how old he is, he'd say, what does it matter? But I've checked up quite close on some of their ages by asking them questions when white men have gone through long ago, and it seems that an old person, well, he's old at maybe 45 or 50 years.
Uh-huh. Well, that was very interesting, and thanks a lot, Dave. And I'm afraid that's all the time we have for questions today. If anyone else has questions they'd like to ask, mail your inquiries to this station in care of Erwin of the Arctic. Listen for another exciting chapter of Dave's story. What happened after the reindeer stampeded? Did Dave finally set out for Barter Island? The next chapter is full of surprises. Don't miss it. Another episode in the daring personal record of Erwin of the Arctic.